when I get to the editing room, that's when the movie really comes alive.
In that moment, they're trying to communicate anxiety, and you just feel the anxiety. Welcome back to the Slate podcast, where we talk about movies, music, and media. I'm Jeff, and I'm here again with Dariel.
That's me.
What's going on, bro? What's going on?
Hey, man, just hanging out. Excited to be here, back for another podcast. Make sure to like and subscribe. Let's just get that out of the way. Like, subscribe, share it with people. We're just hanging out and talking about fun topics, what's in the news, movies, our favorite media stuff. So please like and subscribe.
And if you don't, you're dead to me. So
okay.
No, I'm kidding. Maybe. So Dario, let's get this train rolling, my friend. Let's. Oh, by the way, George is not here in this episode, as you can see. He decided to go party instead of doing the episode. It's okay. We still love you, George. We're gonna have a talk later.
Dang, you didn't have to call him out like that, all right?
Priority. Box office. Let's do box office. Let's move.
Sure, let's get that.
So Dario, you might be aware that this was a big weekend for the movies because there were two films that came out this week, and we're gonna talk about this. That they became what they would call a meme phenomenon when it comes to in the culture. Like these two films became a meme that you had to go watch them together. Or on the same weekend.
I'm not gonna lie. The hype is pretty high. It's pretty hyped.
A lot of hype. I'm talking about the Barbie movie and Oppenheimer. We're actually gonna be talking about Oppenheimer at the end of the episode. Yeah, that's gonna be our main topic. But I'm just gonna give you some quick numbers. So the Barbie movie, it had a budget of 145 million plus 100 million for marketing, and it was expected to make 90 to 110 million domestically. It made 155 million domestic. So it cleared it. It's good. Margot Robbie is chilling in her mansion with her check.
With a couple more $1 million. I mean,
Back up the truck. Yeah, the truck with the money. So Barbie did really good. Then we have Oppenheimer that had a budget of 100 million. It was expected to make 50 million domestically, and it made 80.5 million as of this recording.
Chilling with an extra 30 million?
Extra 30 in the bank? Yeah. Christopher Nolan is good, bro. And here's a fun stat. So this box office for this weekend, it was the fourth biggest box office ever in history. Mm-hmm. And that's what I want to talk to you. I want to ask you, what do you think about the whole, and this is what they call it, it's the Barbieheimer meme that started online. What do you mean, what meme? It became, so when Barbie, and I still don't know why, when they announced that Barbie and Oppenheimer were coming out the same weekend, for some reason the internet thought it was funny that these two films were both releasing on the same weekend.
Because they're like very different.
They're so different. One is pink and pretty and Margot Robbie and Barbie. The other one is dealing up with the atomic bomb. It's dark, greedy, Christopher Nolan. So maybe that's where people saw the meme of it. It's like so different. Mm-hmm. And I saw this name floating around, the Barbieheimer weekend. And it became a thing. And I think this helped the box office where people said, we're going to go watch both.
Yeah.
So
what do you think about that? Most people watch both? I think it's interesting. When I was coming out of my theater from watching Oppenheimer, I saw people and they were all wearing pink. A few people were wearing pink. And I thought that was a little strange. But I'm like, some people just wear, pink sometimes. But it was a little too many people. And then as soon as I walked out of the theater, I'm like, oh, they're going to see Barbie. Like, people are actually dressing in pink to go see Barbie. Yeah. Which is kind of, cool. It's become a trend. Like I said, a meme.
Yeah.
I think it's funny. I mean, I don't know how often that happens. It's usually a bad thing for a movie to have this much competition on their opening weekend.
Yeah.
You don't want to. I mean, if you're Barbie or Oppenheimer, maybe you're sad because so these are famous actors and directors working on this.
Yep. Yep.
But I mean, poor everybody else that might be premiering or having a movie in theaters right now, because everybody's going to see these two movies. But yeah,
Right.
usually the competition is really hard, especially in the midst of a writer strike as well. But I think, yeah, it's kind of unique, I guess.
Yeah. And I knew the Barbie movie. I think I mentioned that in the group chat before, that when that first trailer came out and the posters came out, and then everybody started copying the posters, making their own pictures with the background. That's when I knew, bro, that this movie was probably gonna do well, because this is our culture today. If you can make a meme out of something, if it becomes huge through a meme, you're gonna do well. Even just the attention, like for example, Morbius, right? Morbius was a horrible movie, the worst thing ever made by a man, and it became a meme that it's morbid, time, like that
Yeah,
became a
yeah.
whole meme, to the point where Sony, they actually thought that we were cheering for them, but we were making fun of them, so they
Yeah.
released the movie again in theaters. So for good or bad, I think that's the game today. If you become a meme, you'll get attention.
Yeah, but I think it's like both things as well. It's the meme aspect of it and getting hyped. But morphine time? I was gonna say, did morphine time?
It's
did
morbid time.
Morbius make a lot of money? Because I
No.
think Ant-Man Quantumania wasn't great, but I believe I saw they made their money back. Like they made might be a box office hit, but
Yeah,
really
yeah.
like within the fans is not really that great. So
But
the meme helps the box office a little bit, but it's both like the meme and the good reviews that come out from the critics, and like when the premiere happens, and because these two movies, Oppenheimer and Barbie, have been being praised really by the critics.
Yeah. Oh,
Everybody's
yeah.
saying that Oppenheimer is a masterpiece, and I believe no one has said nothing bad about Barbie. So they were all golden in that. So I can see why they both made their initial, what's it called, expected growth.
yeah, I feel like everybody has been praising that movie, and we're gonna talk about it in a few minutes later on. But yeah, so that's pretty much that for the box office. Barbie sitting at number one, Oppenheimer number two, Sound of Freedom is still at number three, Mission Impossible is still there, number four.
Whoa.
Spider Verse is now the longest movie that's been there in the top 10.
In top 10? Top 5 as well?
Top 10. No, it's actually right now is number 8.
Oh, nice.
But
Okay.
it's been there the longest in the top 10 out of all the
Longest
movies
out of-
there. So
Out of what? Out of movies from...
in the top 10 of that list.
Ever?
No,
Like
as of right now. Like
As of right
with
now,
the
okay,
weeks. Yeah. So Spider-Verse has been in the top 10 for 8 weeks.
I can't believe it's still in
So-
theaters.
Yeah, they're still making money. It's
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah, so
Which,
yeah,
by
that's
the
that
way,
for that.
I have the Spider-Verse shirt, and I was on set today. I was filming, shooting a movie, and everybody told me, "Hey, I love that movie." Literally,
Yeah.
I had so many conversations. You just wear a Spider-Man shirt across, Spider-Verse shirt, and everybody talks to you about it. It's great.
I think everybody has seen that movie by now, and it's for a reason, because that movie is so good, man.
Someone said they've seen it 5 times in theaters today. Someone told me that.
That's crazy. I mean, who am I? I've seen movies.
Who am I to judge?
I went to see No Way Home 5 times in theaters.
You're a nerd.
Come on,
About Spider-Man.
I think I had issues, but
I'm going to see the
yeah.
concert, the Spider-Man concert, where I'm gonna
yeah,
watch.
boy,
You too.
you
And,
and I'll be there too.
I was like, I'm going to.
Dude, I'm
Okay.
excited for that.
We're
Yeah.
going to watch the Spider-Man live, which they just play the movie.
It's
with
a
live
movie
music.
and it's a concert at the same time.
I'm excited for that.
That's wild. Yeah.
Wow. We'll let you know how
Yeah.
that goes.
Yes. A review coming up. Patreon.com. No, I'm kidding. We don't have a Patreon.
No. What? No.
We will soon, one day, maybe.
Yeah.
Uh,
maybe.
Dariel, you mentioned you're filming, you're shooting a film right now.
I am.
Let me
I am.
transition into that. So,
Sure.
if you guys don't know, you and George, you guys went to school for film, and you guys are aspiring, filmmakers. And
Sure.
right now, you're in the middle of doing a short film.
There's
You
what's
actually
up?
had your day 2, I believe,
Yeah,
today.
day two today. Yeah, yeah. Yesterday was day one, and today was day two, and then we get 2 weeks break, and then we come back to film some more.
Sweet. How's that experience going? I know you and George have worked on. I mean, I've been there. I've been part of it.
Yeah,
But I believe this might be the biggest on the scale. Probably the
yeah.
biggest one you guys have done, right?
This is definitely the biggest scale movie that I've done as far as like the project, raising funds for the movie, and just like as many people working on it. We have a group of producers who manage everything that we're doing, and then we have a DP, we have lighting PAs, we got crafty, we got a lot of things going on.
Nice.
So it's definitely it's a learning experience. Working as I'm the director, George is the
Nice.
writer, and so this is definitely the biggest project I've directed so far. And it's a lot of fun, but it's a lot of stress that comes with making a movie, as you might imagine. There are some things
Yeah.
when I think about the big project. When I think about people like acting and directing who have two jobs, like Michael B. Jordan, we were actually talking about that today on set, because he made Creed 3, and he directed
You
Creed
started in
3,
it, yeah.
and he stars in it. I don't know how you do it. I mean, at that big of a budget, you probably have people helping you and making it easy, but still a ton of work,
I
and
can imagine.
and yeah, I mean, it's so far it's been great. I mean, we had our two biggest day this first weekend, Saturday and now Sunday, and yeah, a lot of challenges. Is what everybody says. I mean, filmmaking is really problem solving and making sure you got everything you need and making sure everybody feels comfortable on set. And we had a lot of fun, a lot of laughs, great relationships have been made already. We only been shooting for 2 days, but
Oh
we
wow.
already feel like a family. And I know that's a cliche. Everybody says that, but it's just true. Like when you just spend like all day working on something that everybody loves, and that's the good thing about artists and working on something that's artistic, is like when people are there that are coming to help you do something, it's because they love it. You don't get that so much in a lot of workplaces, which is why you're going to your work and you're like just you're watching the clock. You can't wait to get out of there.
Yep.
When it comes
Yep.
to something like film, everybody's hungry to work, and so when you have so many people on set who are just hungry to work and just happy to be there, that's why sets become like a family. And I think I'm starting to understand like why people say that a lot. Like, oh, we're a family. It's because it's an environment when where you find yourself with a lot of people with the same interest. Which is different
Right.
than working at a different place where you're only there to make money and you don't really want to be there. You don't really want to make friends. But on something like this, you want to make friends, and everybody's just so excited to be there. And I saw that
Right.
today, on my first shoot dates. So yeah, yeah. Do you have any questions about movie making? I mean, I can't really get into the specifics about what the movie is about, but
Right. No, I was gonna add to your sentiment. I feel like only you can only relate to that if you're a creator, because I don't make films, but as you were saying those things, I feel also what you mean. In my times, making music with my friends, or like back when I was working with my friend JP. Shout out to JP. When we were, even though it's different because you're working with a group of people, sometimes it would just be me and him in a room, maybe two or three other people, but just being in that mindset of coming together and to create something, you know, it's such a good feeling, man, that only if you're a creator, if you create things, you can relate to that. So yeah,
yeah,
man, there's no better feeling to me, man.
yeah,
Like when you like a good weekend, bro. I would take, or maybe I'm lying, I don't know, but in my experience, I think I would take a good weekend creating with friends, or like doing this, than like going out, or, and I'm not throwing shade, but, or like doing things that other people think it's fun,
yeah,
like, even
yeah,
though we all like to have fun, you feel me? But when you create, bro, and you, especially like you, this is something you, an idea, so you have a lot of love for it.
Mm-hmm.
So the excitement when you're on set must be like, there's
Yeah,
nothing that compares to that, you know? Like
yeah, yeah. I mean,
your vision is coming to life pretty much.
yes, yes, it is, and it's been a long time coming too. Because again, I don't know, sound, music may be the same thing, but we've been working on this since January. So that's what month are we in? We're in seventh month.
We're in
Uh,
July.
we're
July.
July. So
Are we in
we're
July? Yeah, we're in July.
yeah, we're in July. We're July 23rd is today. So we're at the end of July. So
Yeah.
almost 8 months, 7 months, 8 months. We've been prepping for today. For day one was yesterday. But so we've been prepping for yesterday for day one for like 8 months. So it's been a
Yeah.
long time coming. And like I've been thinking about this for a long time, like how we're gonna get it. And you're right, when you're there and you finally see it coming to fruition and like all these pieces
Man.
together that fall
Yeah.
together, and you
Yeah.
work so hard to make it fall exactly where it needs to go. And then you see it and people it comes alive. It's no longer an idea that's in your head, it's in front of you. And so many people
Yeah.
are helping too. It's such a collaborative effort too. In film, so many people are there,
Yep.
just kind of
Yep.
helping you make this thing come to life. So yeah, it's great to get it out of your head and into reality. And for me, for this film, when I get to the editing room, that's when the movie really comes alive. So I guess for,
Yeah.
for music recording for you, we just did the recording,
Yep.
obviously, and then we go into the editing bay, and that's
Yeah.
where we start really putting the pieces together. And
And
that's
what a
when
feeling it is, man. When
yeah,
you see the finished product, it's like, yeah, man. Like we
yeah,
worked so hard on that. Like,
yeah,
yeah, it's a
and
good feeling. It's a good feeling.
it's a good feeling if everything goes well,
Right. Which it will.
But
It will. I
yeah,
feel like you guys are on top of things and you guys care. So,
oh yeah, we care,
but
and we
yeah.
got some talented people on board, and we have some hardworking people on board, and some good people too, like just generally good people. So shout out to my Richard team. If you guys are watching this,
That's what I was
any
going to
of the
say. What's the
guys,
name of the film? So the name of the film is Reacher?
the name of the film is Richard, based on the Jumper universe. So if you've seen the movie Jumper from 2008, we are kind of basing our short film in that universe. If you want to find out more about our short film, go to Reacher on Instagram. What is it? At Reacher Short Film.
And is there a
you can
way
go
for people to give if they want to
Yes.
donate?
Thank you. We are still fundraising, even though we're in the middle of shooting. Still need money. So if you guys do want to donate, it should be on our link on our bio. Donate some money if you can afford it. It will really, really go a long way. And I promise we are making something that's worth watching, worth supporting. And so many people are working on this. You guys know how films are made. If you're in the
Yep.
industry, you know how films are made, how much work, how much effort, and how much sacrifice everybody makes. So please donate. And again, to my Richard team, if you're watching, thank you so much. Love you guys. I love you guys.
For sure, for sure. Shout out to the team. Cool, man. Well, speaking of the industry, I want to move on to the next topic. And so last week we were talking about the strike that the actors are on right now with the writers.
Mm-hmm.
But I saw this thing, and I just wanted to bring it to you just to get your take. So I don't know if you're familiar with Andrew Schultz, the comedian.
Yep.
So he was on Twitter, and he had his take on the whole thing, and I think it's pretty interesting because he said something that I didn't think about, and I don't know if a lot of people thought about, and it's kind of like a ooh, what if, but it's still like fun to speculate. So the whole thing is that he said that, okay, so you know how Netflix, Disney Plus, all these streamers, they're hiding their numbers, right,
Yeah.
of like the viewers. And
How,
what
how,
we
how many
think,
views a show would get?
right, pretty much,
Yeah.
yeah. And with what we think is right now, it's because they're being cheap. Because if they reveal the numbers, they're gonna have to pay accordingly, to the writers and the actors, right? Like just like in the traditional model with TV. Well, he had a pretty interesting take that they're not hiding the numbers just because they're cheap. They're also hiding the numbers because they want to hide the fact that nobody's watching the
Mm.
shows or most of the shows. Like maybe there's one or two of the hundreds of shows that they're putting in their platforms that they cost money just to keep on the platforms that nobody's watching. And so they're hiding the fact because if they reveal the numbers and it's revealed that nobody's watching, that their stock is going to tank. And when their stock tanks, investors are going to be like, I'm out. You know, I don't want any of this. And they're just going to lose in general. That's a pretty interesting take because it could be possible. Maybe not. I saw some people in the comment section saying, no, but if they reveal that and it turns out that nobody's watching, I don't think, like, people were saying that maybe that's just not enough reason for their stock to, to tank. So it may not be over for them if it's revealed, but what if,
I mean, I think that the other reason to not, I mean, going with that is also bad publicity in a way, because when a show is hated, then you kind of have to cancel it, and a lot of people might drop your streaming service if they hate a show, And well, if a show is doing bad, I guess I should say, not if they hate the show, but it might create like a lot of memes and a lot of. But I'm thinking like any publicity is good publicity, but I think this might be the actual bad publicity to where if a show is not doing well, it's gonna get ridiculed for that.
Like what if it turns out that nobody really watched Stranger Things? You imagine?
I mean, that's not that can't be a thing. I mean, just
or it's not as big as we thought it was.
Maybe it's not as big as we thought it was, but like pretty much everybody. I mean, if you talk to people about shows and you say Stranger Things, they either seen it or they at least know what it is. So they're getting views.
And but here's the other thing.
One more thing, it could be also that maybe their shows are not getting like views like other shows or like even YouTube videos. I mean, I think it's already pretty well known. Like a YouTube video, a very popular YouTuber, if they get a couple million views, a professional show like from Disney is not even getting that. It's also like the image it might be broken.
Mr. Beast is getting more numbers than the Super Bowl.
Bro, I mean, Mr. Beast is
that's a real thing. Yeah,
I'm sure that's true. But like even people who get like 5 million views, per video, or even in a month, let's say, just because they post so much, they get way more views, and they probably get way more money for their ads than like a network show, or like even a Disney show or Netflix show.
Right.
So it's also like the embarrassment of letting that big corporation, letting people know like, oh, a YouTuber with a camera and a microphone in their home is making more money, getting more views than you. How does that make you feel?
Right. And here's the thing too, because let's say you go with that, like, oh, they're hiding the fact. Because Andrew Schultz kept saying, so imagine that, right? Imagine if the actors and the writers, they win the strike and they get the streamers to show the numbers. Well, that means that the streamers would have to start cutting down on the shows and movies that they make. So that means less acting gigs and less writing gigs. So essentially, they strike themselves out of jobs because there's going to be less jobs because the streamers are going to start cutting. So it's this weird.
Well, it's also a balance because less jobs, but more higher paying jobs. So maybe
right, yeah. So
you know what I mean?
Less jobs that pay more and the quality goes up, but that means less writers, less jobs.
Less jobs. I mean, yes, that is true.
And also, if the viewers thing isn't real, this will be real. That if they show the numbers, they're gonna have to start paying them properly. So that means, like we said, less jobs because they got to pay more.
Also,
to
maybe
the writers.
investors might not. I'm just coming up with another reason why they're not showing the numbers. If they know that they release 5 shows in a row that are not doing well, and you can tell by views, investors are not gonna join. Maybe that's why the stock dropping comes from. Maybe that I just
Yeah,
breaking it
yeah,
down in my head.
yep. So
So that
yeah,
makes
that
sense.
was.
That makes sense.
It's really. The comment section was funny because there were people like, "Yo, you're up to something," and then there were people like, "Yo, Schultz, chill, man. There's people that have been killed for less." Like,
I mean, yeah, they're gonna. You imagine
like
he gets it right on point.
yeah,
Disney's
right.
gonna
And it
take them
makes
out.
sense. That's the funny thing. It makes
Yeah,
sense. You
it
know,
does.
like
It
why
does.
why else would they hide? Like, I mean, we don't hide our numbers and we don't make good numbers on this channel, but like
Mhm.
if we were hiding our numbers, it would be obvious that it's because we don't want people to see that every video gets like 10 views or 20 views, you know?
That's we would know, but they
You
wouldn't
know?
know. I mean, they already
Hey,
took down the thumbs down
that was
button.
lame. That was so
Yeah,
lame.
so like you don't
Yeah.
know how much hate a video gets, other than hate comments, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so moving on. Our last topic is Oppenheimer. We both went to see it,
Mm.
kinda, and we're gonna
Yeah,
give our thoughts on this movie that has been praised pretty much by all Twitter. I was
praised,
on Twitter today,
loved,
and everybody's loving this movie. Christopher
masterpiece,
Nolan.
best movie ever
Christopher
made.
Nolan, you know,
Christopher Nolan, I saw, is the highest grossing film opening weekend that Chris Nolan has ever had, I think.
crazy.
And he did the Batman. I mean,
The Dark Knight trilogy, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So, by the way, full spoilers from this moment on. So yeah, Dario, my friend. So you
What?
you went to see this movie,
Mhm.
and hot take or not a hot take? It's so what happened? Walk me through your experience of watching this movie.
I was sitting in the theater, minding my
Yeah,
own
yeah,
business,
yeah,
and
yeah.
then the movie starts, and
The
then
movie started.
the movie starts, and I'm looking at the
Yeah,
movie, and it's just going, and I'm
it's
just
going.
watching it. It's going, and I'm watching.
Bombs.
Well, not really. Not until like halfway through, we see the
Oh
first
yeah.
test bomb, but it's just going, and I'm like, wow, this masterpiece. I'm not really enjoying it that much. And then it kept going, and I'm like, I'll eventually get into it. I don't understand what's happening, what's going on, but I'm sure it'll be great. And then halfway through, oh no, I guess going into the last act of the movie, I
Uh-huh.
left.
You walked out of Oppenheimer. You walked out of what's considered a masterpiece. You walked out of what's one of the best movies in history,
And can I
Daryl.
say another unpopular opinion? I walked out of also another movie, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. That was another movie that was praised, and
You
I
walked
was.
out of a Quentin Tarantino movie.
You heard it here first. Don't hate me. I know.
Oof.
Hey, I'm a movie maker, so I know.
There,
I
you're
know
done.
movies, right? I know movies. You trust my opinion? Yeah.
Oh, but if it was an MCU film, no, I'm kidding.
No, but I'll
Um,
say this. Okay, in my defense, hold on. In
yeah.
my defense, okay, I was in the theater watching, and that was Friday night. And
Friday
like I
night.
said before in the pod, I'm getting ready to start filming the first day on my short film.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was kind of busy. I was in the theater. I'm getting texts because I thought I would have the afternoon chunk, kind of free to, do something. And then I go to the theater, and of course, if you are part of a film project, especially the director, it's just you're working all the way up to the first day.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The day before is just really hectic anyway, as well. And so I'm getting texts, and I actually got 3 different phone calls that I had to step out of the theater to pick up,
Ugh.
and I had to. And they were important phone calls, like the night before kind of thing, like, oh, something's happening. And so I had to pick up. I got 3 phone calls. So I had to walk out of the theater 3 times to pick up a phone call,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then walk back in. And I didn't. And the thing that I noticed when I came back is that I didn't feel like I missed anything. And that's usually a bad sign for me when I walk out and I come back in. I'm like, I wonder what I missed. I actually don't care. And
Right.
so that happened.
When did you walk out? What's the last thing you saw?
They actually did the bomb because I had to stay for the bomb, for
Yeah,
the atomic bomb. So
Yeah.
they do the actual bomb. They're celebrating. Everybody's high fiving him. When he's walking out, they pick him up. I remember that. So it's sometime after the bomb goes off.
Okay.
So I did watch that, and I watched a little bit of after that. I didn't see anything negative. I don't. I didn't watch the ending. So I at least made it. I felt like into the end of Act Two. I had like an hour left.
Right.
So
Okay.
and
Um.
yeah, go ahead.
So here's what this movie was. You know how MCU movies? There's some of them that they're
Well, first
made
of all,
for
did you
like.
finish it? Did you finish it?
Yes, I stayed. I
Okay.
fell asleep through like 2 minutes of the movie, but I
Oh
woke up.
shoot! No,
Yeah, I'll tell you what it was.
that's kind of worse.
But
All right, it's kind of
okay,
worse than
so
what I did. So I'm just saying.
you know how some MCU movies they're made for the public audience, but sometimes there's those other MCU movies where it's just for the fans, or it's just for the people that are no. I feel like this movie was for the people that are history junkies. You know, people
Yeah.
that are really into historic facts and historic
Hmm.
figures and events. If you're into history, this is your movie. Like
Yes.
10 out of 10, you're gonna love this movie. Yeah.
Yes.
Now, when
I
it
agree
comes
with that.
to the white audience, I can see why some people just didn't care much, or it would come off as boring. And I gotta be. It's not the movie's not boring, but it can come off as boring because it's a lot of dialogue and a lot of talking and a lot of explaining, a lot of science things,
A lot of science
and
things. Yes.
yeah.
And
So
I'll say this for me, I don't
yeah,
gravitate to this type of movies because, and I told you this the other day. It's like it's so fast paced, but at the same time is slow
I see
in
what
a
you mean.
way.
I see what you mean.
You know
Yep.
what I mean? Like the movie
Yep.
starts and it's going, and we're seeing him old and cutting to the black and white or RDJ scenes, and then we go back to when he's young, and things are happening, and then the intercutting of his visions, I guess, of the space or
Quick
something.
question.
Mhm.
So I was late to the movie,
Oh,
and when tell me how much I missed, because when I walked in, it was right before he injected the apple.
okay. That
I saw a
that.
little bit. I saw a little footage of Robert Downey Jr. in black and white,
Mhm.
and then we cut to the school and when he injected the apple. So how
Okay.
much did I miss?
You didn't miss that much. That's still
Okay, cool.
towards the beginning. Yeah. Because
Okay,
they do a few flashback of him when he's young and like in school.
yeah.
And that's pretty much at the beginning, if I can remember correctly.
Okay,
Again, it's so
cool, cool.
hard to like track because they're jumping from the future afterwards where they're interrogating them, about what happened, and they're in the courtroom, and then they're in the little meeting room with all the guys, and
Yeah,
where
yeah,
Emily Blunt is in the back
yeah.
at some point, and then they go to the back. Like it's really hard to keep track for me, like where thinking back, like when did that happen? Like what happened before that? You know, like did that happen before that or after that? Because it's told
Non-linear. It's a non-linear
non-linearly,
movie.
which
Yeah,
I'm sure watching back you can catch a lot of things. But and what I was gonna say too, the type of movies I don't like are the ones that are the scenes are not really scenes, they're kind of montage scenes because
yeah,
they're going so fast and they're only saying a couple things and then they're moving on to the next scene. And so it kind of feels like you're not really getting a scene, you're getting like uh a condensed version of a scene. Because they would cut to like the lab with the board is, and then they
yeah.
would go to something else, and that scene would be like 30 seconds long or
Really
something like
short,
that. It's
super short.
super
I
short.
noticed a few of those. Yeah,
Yo, they're so short, and then they would intercut it with something else, and sometimes it just felt like they were saying things, and they were just changing the background.
yeah,
Like when he's talking to Matt Damon, and they're in the train, and then they're walking down, I guess in the school or something, and then they go back to the train, and it just kind of feels like the background is just changing. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And they keep talking, and they're in different locations. The background just keeps changing because now it's just Matt Damon and what's the main guy's name? Oppenheimer. You
Uh
know, the
yeah,
guy
I
who
don't
plays.
remember his
Oh,
name, but
Killian Murphy. Um,
yeah.
Sometimes it's just them two, and then we just see them talking in one location, and they cut to a different location, and then cut to a different location of them talking again and again and again. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, you know what this reminded me of? This reminded me of, and maybe you'll agree, the Social Network. Because in the Social Network, we kept cutting to that hearing with Mark
Yes.
Zuckerberg,
And
and
can
in
I say
this, yeah.
yes, but the social network actually did it right.
Mm,
Because I love the social network. I don't know if you remember that. And I
yeah.
was just literally watching it. I think I watched it Friday night, just before I went to bed. Just because I love that movie and it's so well directed.
Yeah.
Just because I was going into my first day of directing this movie, I kind of
Yeah.
wanted to watch something that I like, and I was watching the Social Network. It's funny you brought that up,
Yeah.
but the scenes in the Social Network, they are intercutting into different loose what's it called, lawsuits
Uh-huh.
that he's in, but they're not as quick in their actual scenes. And like it's very easy to know where you are, when you are, what they're saying, what it is about, and it's very well set up. So
Yeah.
I get your comparison to this, but their scenes are longer than this.
Right. And I'm not, maybe it didn't help that I was late to the movie by a few minutes, but I was lost because we had like three things. We had the main like focus of Oppenheimer when it was color. Then we would cut back to the black and white with Robert Downey Jr. And then we would cut back to this hearing room. So I was lost. Like
Mhm.
I didn't know what the heck was happening. Eventually I started catching on, and I don't know if it's just the nature of the movie or if it's a Christopher Nolan thing where you're
Mhm.
supposed to feel lost in the beginning, or maybe it's like a puzzle and you got to slowly figure it out.
Yeah,
So yeah, I felt lost. That was the feeling that I had.
yeah.
But but I knew what the main thing of the movie was.
I
This is
mean,
the
that's
guy that
not.
made the atomic bomb, and we're
Yeah,
eventually gonna get to that point.
yeah. I mean, the different settings for the lawsuit. I mean, the courtroom and the conference room. What you call it?
It's a hearing.
The hearing room.
Yeah.
You mean the smaller room with the seats behind
Yep.
them?
It's a hearing.
Um,
Yep.
yeah. So the hearing room, they definitely have different purposes. They're not for the same thing. I feel like the hearing room was more for Oppenheimer, and they're trying to figure out if he purposely, did
If he was
any.
like if he was a spy, pretty much
Yeah, if he did a spy, if he
passing
purposely
information.
messed it up or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah, but they're not really set up that much unless I missed it. I'm just not smart enough for this movie.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
kind of what it feels like at some point. It's like,
It's a smart movie.
yeah, yeah. It kind of makes you feel dumb. Like I'm not following. Am I dumb?
I'm not gonna lie. Look, because okay, I I can get lost real quick sometimes,
Yeah,
and
it is same.
it's been a while since I had to do this. Watching something where I had to be like, okay, I gotta hang on to every word that's happening. So I was like locked in, bro. Like
And that's
it's
what I
not.
mean. And that's
And
what
when
I
I
mean that
watch
it's
other
fast.
movies, it's not that I start daydreaming, but I feel
Mhm.
like when I watch other movies, I don't have to like hang on to every word. But in this movie, I was like locked in. Like, all right, I'm catching
Yeah.
every dialogue, and I'm trying not
Y-
to miss anything.
You have to. And that's
But
what I mean when I say
yeah,
it's fast paced, because things are just coming at you, coming at you.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
again, they're switching locations and people are saying things and reacting to things and they're saying things and so things are coming at you. But at the same time, it's like, okay, what is happening?
Right, right,
What is the purpose of this? You know?
right. And you know, the I think objectively the movie is good. It had a good cast. It looks
You
good.
can't say
It
objectively, but
sounds. I think objectively it's a good movie.
you can't
Like I
say
said,
that
look,
about art.
okay, art is subjective, but I
Yes.
feel to a certain degree there are things that are objective. Like for example, objectively, Morbius is the worst thing that's ever
No,
happened to us as
you can't
humans.
say that.
Um,
So
But
objectively, to me, and we don't have to get into this rabbit hole.
okay,
Is that something that is true for
technically it's a good
everybody?
movie. Technically, it's a good
Okay,
movie.
okay, you can say that.
Technically, because it looks good. In the theater that I was in, the sound design was amazing. The
Wow.
Actually, let's jump to this. So the bomb, M- Dario,
Oh, that's
the
cool.
when it came time for the bomb,
Yeah.
I was impressed
Mhm.
because this is where Christopher Nolan, I guess, is playing with your feelings, because the whole time they're hyping this thing. It's like, oh, this is the whole thing of the movie, the bomb, the bomb. They're testing it. And we finally get to this moment, and our expectation is it's about to this. Like in my mind, I was like, this is gonna blow the speakers. Like this is
Mhm.
about to be fun. And then when they hit you with the
And then it was
when they hit
boring.
you with the no, when they hit you with the silence,
Yeah.
and all you hear is their breathing and
Mm.
and and just him, everybody being like, oh my god, it's happening.
Yeah.
Bro, brilliant. I
Yeah.
loved it. Like my theater was silent and I felt the moment. I don't know if you felt it, but I felt that moment, bro. Like
Yeah.
I was in it with them. I was like, holy crap, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, you do that's the most exciting part of the movie because it's like, oh God, we're coming together and everybody's so nervous. Man, I get that
Yeah,
feeling.
yeah.
Again, I just came out of that's like making a movie. Everybody's so nervous
Yeah.
that okay, here we go, we're doing the thing. So again, a long time coming for this group, for this bomb. And the fact that it also set up just before that in the calculations is not zero, it's near zero.
Near
That
zero. Yeah,
that the
yeah.
explosion might never stop. That's their calculation that they're thinking this explosion would just keep going and just kill everybody.
Yeah, yeah.
So he might just end the world.
Yeah,
So there's
and
that. little-
everybody in that moment did so great, and especially like Josh Peck, the actor from Drake and Josh.
Especially
He's
him.
the guy that had to press the button.
I
And
know.
like even the way he was shaking,
Well,
in the scene.
he didn't press it. His job was if something went wrong just before he went off,
Oh,
he was
right,
supposed
right.
to press it. Like if
Yeah,
a
yeah.
number happened or something, he had to press it before he went off.
I don't know why I thought that he was the one that pressed the button.
No, I
Yeah.
think it was on a countdown, on an automatic countdown.
Okay. Well, even the way him in the moment, like shaking, like
Yeah.
you really felt the tension. What I meant to say is with the bomb, how it goes silence. It's like Christopher Nolan is messing with your expectations. And I love that because you're expecting something and it's like, no, I'm going this way. Like, so I love when they do that in music or in movies that, so that was really fun. I really loved that moment in the movie. Did you make it to so this was after the explosion.
Okay.
Did you make it to where he gave the speech?
No,
Okay.
I don't think
There,
so.
this was my second favorite moment from this movie. So after the bomb happened, he became like a hero. Everybody knows Oppenheimer. Everybody's cheering for him. And that's what the ending of the movie was dealing with, his like the guilt that he felt afterwards. There's this scene after the explosion where he goes to give a speech in front of people. And people are cheering like, yeah, let's go, America. They're waving the flag. But he's anxious. He has anxiety because he knows what he just did, He's gonna destroy the world. So in that moment, he's anxious and scared and worried, but he also has to give this speech because he's a hero. So they do this thing where it goes quiet and all you hear is him talking. And then you see the camera's like focused on him. And then you start seeing the background like starting to shake. And bro, in that moment, they're trying to communicate anxiety. And you just feel the anxiety. You remember in No Way Home when Tom Holland has that moment
Yeah.
where his spider sense is going off and the camera's like following him, but you feel the tension? This was 100 times better, bro. Like,
Whoa.
I've never seen anxiety put on display like this. Like, you feel it, bro. Like, that's what anxiety feels like. Like, you see it on his face, and Yeah, bro. Like
Nice. That's cool, man.
that was such a cool
I'm
moment.
gonna have to look for that scene online when it comes out.
Yeah.
Just watch that
And
because
then
I'm not going back to the theater for this.
right. No, and then the cool part is as he's talking, he we see what he's seeing and he's visualizing as if the atomic bomb got dropped in that moment. So you start seeing this just a big white light and you actually start seeing like people like starting to like, get messed up by the bomb. Bro, when I tell you it was intense and like
Yeah.
I said, I've never seen like the emotion of anxiety and being scared put on display like that. Like it was so good, man.
Yeah, dude. All right. I can't wait to see that scene. Honestly, I'm gonna look for it because now you got me excited for that. Maybe I missed the best part of the whole movie.
It wasn't the best part, but for sure it was something so cool to
Special.
watch on screen.
Something
Yeah,
special.
yeah.
All right. Can you, since I missed the ending, can you summarize the ending kind of quick?
Right. So the ending pretty much was dealing with, the whole, oh, was he a spy? Was he actually sending information to the Soviet Union? Or was he actually loyal to the country? Actually
Right.
working for the U.S. And that's what the after the explosion, that's what the movie was dealing with, and the guilt that he was facing. Like at one point, he went to meet the president, and even the president was like, "What a crying baby," because Oppenheimer was like, I feel like I have blood in my hands," but the president was like, "Nobody cares about you. I'm the one that dropped the bomb. I have blood in my hands." Which, by the way, also another cool moment. So, and
Gotcha.
in the ending, it's a conversation between him and Albert Einstein. And you know how there was a scene before where we saw them talking, but we didn't really see
Yeah. We don't know
what they
he
said
told
to
him.
each other?
Yeah. What
Well,
he said to Albert. Yeah.
this is the very last scene. We get to see that conversation.
Mm.
And it's pretty much Oppenheimer being like, "Yeah, I remember those calculations that I came to you before, and they could start a chain reaction. Yeah, we figure it out. So I think we're all gonna die pretty much." So, and Albert, that's
What?
why Albert Einstein was like upset
So
because
he figured it out, but everybody's gonna die. Oh, because he's gonna be able to.
because
make
it's
a
the
bomb?
end of the world if everybody starts bombing each other.
Gotcha.
And Albert Einstein had some pretty good lines where he was like, pretty much, in the future, people are gonna give you medals, people are gonna give you a pat on the back, but remember, that's not for you, that's for them. But that's almost like punishment for you because you know what you did, you feel guilty, but people
So
are
he
telling
knew.
you, "Good job."
So he knew. I mean,
Oppenheimer felt guilty about
but that was
what
before
he.
the bomb, right?
No,
So
afterwards.
that conversation with
I've-
Albert. Oh yeah, I guess so.
See, this is where the non-linear thing, because this happened before the bomb, the conversation, but then at the end of the movie, we pick up to that conversation,
But
to
it
what they
wasn't
said.
black and white, so I guess that means it was after that. That it was after.
It was black and white when we saw it early in the movie, but at the end, it was like an actual scene, like color, and we got to see
color?
them talk. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
And the character that was played by Robert Downey Jr., he was trying to blame Oppenheimer that he was a spy or something, but he ended up losing. So,
Gotcha.
yep.
All right.
So
You
yeah,
good?
that was the movie, bro. Honestly, like I said, I'm not like a big history fan. Like I'm not into history. So I'm not gonna say that I love this movie. I fell asleep at one point before the bomb for like a good 2 minutes. It was just it was back and forth, a dialogue, and
Yeah.
the chair was comfortable, and I just like zoned out for like a minute.
I feel like that's worse than walking and seeing the ending. So
No,
I'll say that
I don't
do
think
that
I
well.
missed anything, but
Well, you did because you fell asleep in 2 minutes. So you
I
technically
know
did.
it was
miss
just
something.
dialogue. Like literally, I woke up and they were still talking.
I mean,
So-
that's the whole movie.
Look,
There's
look,
not much
like
action
I
or
said,
anything else.
like I said earlier, if you're a history fan and all that, this is the movie for you. I enjoyed it. It can come off as boring because there's a lot of talking. I still thought it was cool, like seeing Robert Downey Jr. and the guy that played Oppenheimer.
Yeah, the acting was great.
Florence Pugh, shout out to her.
Florence Pugh.
Uh,
Pugh.
I feel like this is a good movie that you can show at school in a history class, but you'll probably have to cut out a few scenes. Shout out to
Yeah.
Florence. Uh,
Okay. All right.
but yeah, I can see why people are saying that this is a masterpiece
Yeah.
because I think it has those things that makes a good movie good.
Hmm.
If I had to rate it from 1 to 10, I think I'll give it a 7.
Okay.
I'm not
Okay.
gonna sit here and say that I loved it, but I enjoyed it. You know what? You know how a lot of times we say it was a fun movie. Like The Flash wasn't good, but it
Mhm.
was fun.
Mhm.
This movie's not fun for me. This movie wasn't fun, but it was interesting.
Yeah, I don't think it's
It
supposed
was
to be
very
fun.
interesting,
It's not supposed to be fun.
especially the ending, because, like I said, they have that conversation, him and Albert Einstein, and it's like it gives you chills a little because Oppenheimer is pretty much saying, like, yeah, like we're doomed. And the movie literally ends with this visual of the Earth, like atomic bombs being dropped around the Earth. And that was one of his visions. And the movie ends on that. And it was another experience. This is the first time where the movie ends and you're just like, man, like people were walking out of that theater quiet, like it was silence. So it was an interesting experience. It's not a fun movie. It's an interesting movie, and I think it's really well made. And I give
Okay.
it a 7.
Okay, very good. I cannot grade it. I can't give it a rating because I didn't finish it. I
Yeah.
didn't watch the ending. So, yeah, I don't know. I can't give it a
Do
rating.
I wouldn't say you have to go back to the movie theater. I think you're good if you just wait for it to come out.
Yeah, I'll
But
wait for it.
definitely finish it because I'm telling you, that moment after the bomb when he's giving that speech and then the ending, oof. It's like really, really good.
Awesome. Awesome.
Cool.
All right.
Well, I think that's a podcast for us. Thank you, everybody
There's a
who's
podcast
been
for us.
watching, following. Do the YouTube thing, the likes and the comments and the subscribe.
Do the things. Please.
Yeah, all those things, man. Do all those things. Dario, thank you again, and we'll be here next Wednesday. Or at least we'll try. I don't know what movie comes out next week. I don't know if we'll be reviewing a movie or not. We'll
I
figure
don't-
it out.
Nothing good, I don't think.
Yeah, we'll see. But anyways, thank you guys for watching, and cut.